You Israelites should not be eating swine. You Israelites, which consist of you so-called Latinos, you so-called blacks, you so-called African Americans, you so-called Native Americans, you so-called Seminole Indians. If you are of those tribes, the 12 tribes, you should not be eating pig. You should not be eating swine. Okay? I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, and double honors to my apostles that rule well at Great Millstone. Greetings and salutations to all the Akiyam that's pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Extension.Missouri. Found a little article online. Just want to read it. It says swine performance is influenced by internal parasites, most dramatically in the young, growing pig. Parasites reside in the stomach and intestinal tract of the pig. So there's parasites in pigs and swine, and you are what you eat. And according to the scriptures, hey, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua commands us not to eat the swine. All right? We can eat meat. Yes, we can eat meat, but we have certain meats to eat. We have to keep the dietary laws. But a lot of you people don't even know about the dietary laws. That's in the scriptures. It says parasites reside in the stomach and intestinal tract of the pig, causing irritation, impaction in digestion, and lack of appetite. Parasites cause loss of nutrients from feed consumed by competing with the host and by causing poor digestion, gut ulceration, and even blood loss. Even small numbers of the large round worm, which it says Ascaris sum, that's the scientific term name to the large round worm. It says can depress feed intake and daily gain and cause a depression in gain feed ratio. Some worm parasites may be found in the lungs where they interfere with respiration. This in turn may result in pneumonia. All right. It says even though internal parasites are commonly associated with pasture and dry lot husbandry, some parasites such as Isospora neonatal infection may be present in total confinement. Ascarid infections frequently are found in finishing barns with concrete floors. The reason for continuing parasitism in these units is that transmission is by infective eggs and oocysts, which are difficult to keep out of any environment. Therefore, appropriate deworming schedules and sanitations are mandatory for parasite prevention programs. So they try to take the parasites from these animals out, but you know these swine and pig, they produce parasites. It's in them. That's why we don't supposed to eat the swine. All right, but a lot of you people eat hog and things of that, and things of that nature. You got different worms that's in the pig. You got whipworms. You have the round worms, large round worms. You have what else? The nodular worms, the thread worm, the kidney worms. You see, the lung worms. So you are what you eat, man, and we're commanded not to eat the swine. Okay, this is Snops. It says it's not this Snops.com. It says, are pigs unhealthy to eat because they don't sweat? The notion that a pig's lack of function in sweat glands has anything to do with its risk of transmitting disease is without scientific basis. It says It says pigs don't sweat and are therefore more likely to harbor parasites or other toxins, making them unhealthy to eat. It says pork has a long history of being maligned as an unhealthy and unclean meat, primarily to the beliefs expressed in ancient religious texts. While in the modern era, some armchair scientists have attempted to provide scientific explanations for the same belief. In the latter category, several posts that have gained widespread attention online have claimed that pigs are more likely to harbor dangerous bacteria and parasites because they do not sweat, which pigs, they don't, they say they have some sweat glands, but they don't sweat. You know, different articles say that they have sweat glands, but they just don't sweat, you know. And according to the scriptures, the Israelites do not supposed to eat the swine and unclean animals. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai gave us laws and commandments to keep. As for these other nations, they're going to do what they want to do. But we have to abide by the dietary laws as well. Somebody put this post. Pork lovers out there, just stop. Pigs do not sweat. So all of the bacteria stays inside the body and turns into parasites. Right. That's true. Eating pig will give you parasites in your brain, in your lungs, and in your intestinal tract. All right. If you eat too much pork, swine. All right. It says white specks in the meat are worms that attack the digestive system and the brain when too much pork has been consumed. The Bible forbid us from eating swine. That's right. That's true. And let's get that scripture. Because if you're still eating swine and pork, hey, it's not looking too good for you. You know, straight up. This is Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. But in this society, in this current world, you see Esau is what the so-called white man, the Edomites, they promote bacon and bacon's on sandwiches, bacon in salads, bacon in the BLT wrap, bacon, lettuce, and tomato wrap. They promote bacon pretty much on everything, you know, which is absolutely ridiculous. Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Right. You don't supposed to eat catfish because catfish has no scales. You see, they have fins, but they don't have scales. If you want to eat something in the ocean, make sure it has scales and fins. Verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. That's right, man. You don't supposed to eat shrimp, lobster, crab, crawfish, the swordfish. You don't supposed to eat a swordfish. You don't supposed to eat shark. You don't supposed to eat an eel. You don't supposed to eat a jellyfish. You see? You don't supposed to eat these things, man. But the so-called Christian church, these so-called Pastor Pork Chops will tell you, guess what? It's okay to eat pork. It's okay to eat anything you want. Just pray over it, and it should be clean. That's madness. That's madness. That's not scriptural, man. They're lying to you people, all right? They don't know the Bible. You know, by people eating these things, this is how the majority of our people get sick. They end up having what? Heart failure, kidney failure, diseases, gout, cancer in their intestines. Our people like to eat what? Chitlins. They call it chitlins. Chitlins. What are those? Pig's intestines. Why would our people eat that? Because they don't have no knowledge, man. They are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. Since you don't want none of the Lord's reproof, people, since you don't want to acknowledge the truth of the Bible, since you rejected knowledge, which we out here feeding you people with wisdom and knowledge, but since you rejected it, the Most High Yahweh, through his son Yahushua, will also reject you. This is an article on RT.com. It says some 3,000 pigs ordered to be culled in Hong Kong over African swine fever outbreak, which they're being slaughtered. The word culled goes into, them being slaughtered, or being put to death. A certain amount of, pigs is being selectively slaughtered. See, culled of an animal selectively slaughtered. Select from a large quantity obtained from a variety of sources. Reduce the population of a wild animal by selective slaughter. Right. Which the Most High made everything perfect. And pigs and swine, they serve a purpose, They clean up the earth. They're like garbage disposals, man. They eat anything. You're not supposed to eat the pig, people. Our people eat bacon, and they keep the bacon fat and cook with it. And people are wondering why is their blood pressure so high? Why they so sick? Why they walking with uneasiness? Why they can't sleep at night? Because you people not eating the right things, man. Your diet is effed up. They say that the African swine fever outbreak don't affect humans. That's what they say, but they could be lying. The entire stock of a pig farm in Hong Kong has been ordered to be culled after a rare outbreak of African swine fever was detected in the Chinese anonymous region. While the disease is deadly for pigs, it does not affect humans. At the end of the day, me personally, I don't believe that, because the scriptures say not to eat the pig. And if you do eat the pig, hey, you're gonna get judged. But guess what? By these heathens eating pigs and swine, it may not affect them. You see? But we're a separate people, where if we were to do the things the heathen did, like eat swine all day and eat pig, and either all day or just, not all day, hey, we could get judged by that, because why? The laws and the commandments, they obtain to us. We supposed to abide by them, not these heathens. You see? So it may not affect the heathens. It's saying it does not affect humans at all, but hey, you never know. It affects our people, but it may not affect the heathens. The killing was ordered by local authorities late on Tuesday after previous attempts to contain the outbreak failed. The disease was first detected at a farm located in the north last week, prompting the culling of 240 pigs and then a further 590. Despite this, the fever continued to spread across the facility. The Agriculture, Fisheries, and Conservation Department said. The department will cull the remaining 3,000 pigs in an orderly manner as the ground situation allows and as soon as possible. The department spokesperson said, as quoted by local media, the owner will be compensated according to the established mechanism. So far, the outbreak hasn't spread outside the farm, and pigs at nearby facilities have tested negative for the virus. Hong Kong has some 43 pig farms, which only account for about 15% of its needs, and the region is heavily dependent on live swine imports. African swine fever has repeatedly decimated pig stock in mainland China, where it is endemic and has severely damaged its pork supply over the past few years. It is still a rare occurrence in Hong Kong. The last major outbreak there was in 2019 and was triggered by swine imports from the mainland. It was stopped with the culling of 10,000 pigs across the region. Right, they just slaughtering pigs because the pigs, you're not supposed to eat the pig. But they finding out that, these pigs have different diseases in them, so they want to slaughter the pig. Bro, you're not supposed to eat the pig, man. Let the pig live. You're not supposed to eat the pig, all right? You're not supposed to eat swine. Once again, you people out there eating the swine, you're going to get destroyed. This is Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 2. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts, a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick. That rebellious people is talking about the Israelites. The majority of our people, they're walking after their own thoughts, and they're continually provoking Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua to anger. And guess what our people doing? They're worshiping these different idols in these churches, in the groves, in these harlot houses. All right? They're into these different philosophies. Verse 4, which remain among the graves and lodge in the mountains, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense, even recompense into their bosom your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, saith the Lord Yahweh, which have burnt incense upon the mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. That's right. The Most High Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai is going to destroy you pork eaters, the ones that think you holy and thou, you so-called Christians. The Most High Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai is going to destroy you. This is Isaiah 66, verse 15. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. The Most High Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai, hey, he's not playing, all right? They're not playing. The chariots are here. People see the chariots. All right, when that day come, we're going to see the chariots in its entirety. The chariots are the so-called UFOs. All right, and it spits out beams of fire. All right, verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. A lot of you people that eat swine, the majority of our people that eat the swine, you know you're not supposed to eat the swine, but yet you still eat it because you're rebellious. Then our people want to eat the what? The mouse, the raccoon. You want to eat the rabbit, the squirrel. Our people are effed up, man. Mentally, physically, all right? Spiritually. Our people are spiritually just lost and just through. And that's on them because they reject the knowledge. All right? So that's why, hey, the Most High gave them up to a reprobate mind. To the point they don't know judgment. They void of judgment. They just through. With that, all praises, glory, honor to Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, HaKodash, Shalom.